celebrating 6 years live from New York. It's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the 6th annual Ask Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer, and I have been for 6 years now. So that's pretty exciting. Maybe I'll be a DECA engineer soon. With me is Mr. Lady Ada on camera control and periscope perfectionism.
Yeah.
We got an exciting show for you tonight, all sorts of good stuff. We're not going to do too much memorabilia and what's the word?
What? Retro?
No, retro.
Retrospective?
Nostalgia.
No, it's all about the future here.
It's all about, like, we're just looking forward into the future.
We're not going to do a highlight reel of 6 years. We're just going to keep looking forward.
Mostly because you can tell how much we've aged. But what?
I'm going backwards.
Yeah, but, well, whatever.
I'm getting younger.
I am not. So.
I'm drinking the blood of...
Whoa, too goth.
Yeah, sorry.
Back that up. Tell me what's on today's show.
I'm glad you asked. On tonight's show, the code is 6 years. We've been doing Ask an Engineer for 6 years. That means you can get 10% off. That's what it means. We're broadcasting live from Periscope as well. We're trying this. Go to twitter.com/Adafruit and you'll see the links to Periscope if you want to see behind the scenes from my phone.
Which is just basically us, but from the side.
You can see how the show is run, and
you can see my knees.
And then while the video is going on, you can hear us banter back and forth. Next up,
mostly about the overhead camera.
we'll be talking about 6 years of doing Ask an Engineer. The show and tell, which is celebrating 4 years.
Wow.
We've been doing that for 4 years.
It's graduating.
Yeah. Pack of mailbags and stop by. Adafruit Jobs Board. Time traveling. Wearables. 3D printing. Raspberry Pi. New products. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to talk about some top secret stuff. We're going to have a trivia question. All that and more on You Got It. It's been going on for 6 years. If you don't get it by now, you're never going to get it. It's true.
Wow, judgy.
It's true. If you've been watching this for 6 years,
and you're like, I don't know
what is this about?
What's happening next?
Yeah. If you don't know what that's about, then you got to stop. Okay. So, anyways, the code. Let's do some logistic-y, paying some bills things.
Okay.
The code is 6 years, 10% off everything, all the way up till 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, except for software and gift certificates. We can't do that. And let me remind you, we have two things going on right now. $200 or more, free UPS ground. This is reliable,
Yay.
trackable, awesome shipping. And
it goes in a truck.
It goes on a truck like that. And then you get one gigantic 8 foot by 4 foot perma. No, you get a because it's not the scale. It's a Perma Pro. You get that for $99 or more.
So handy. This is we used to give away rulers, but this was the one that people never complained about getting multiple ones. Whereas the rulers, people eventually were like, "Hey, how many rulers?" I mean, like, you can give them away, but eventually there's too many rulers. So the Perma Protos, nobody's ever said I'm tired of getting Perma Protos.
No, and just another reminder. So the reason that we do this code every week, or a code every week, is because there's a few special things about Adafruit. So no advertising, no sponsors, no venture capital, no loans.
No bankers.
No
suits.
Yeah, no suits.
Only goths.
Yeah.
Although goths are like pretty well off now, but
Goths have black suits and spikes and
like
stuff.
a black tie.
And so the only way that we survive and do what we do is because you folks out there pick up a kit or some electronics or something, and that's got us going for 10 years now. And it just means that we can stay independent, do open source, not have people try to tell us to pivot or be unicorns.
We're not paid for, sponsored by like Microsoft or Google or anybody else.
Yeah,
we get to do what we want.
When we do something, it's because we want to do it.
It's pretty much the only way we do it. We don't look. Life is short, so only do things.
No, life is incredibly long.
But it's
the only thing you'll ever know. I'm so sorry.
But it's also too short to not just do the things you want to do.
It's really long, and you're stuck with all your decisions. So you got to make good decisions.
I know, but despite that, most people don't necessarily get to do the things they want to do because they feel indebted to big companies that fund them.
I'm saying
so we don't have that.
I'm saying that once we make a decision like this, we're stuck with it for so long. So we may as well make the right decision.
So we have to live with ourselves.
We've got to live with ourselves.
It's recorded and it's on YouTube. It's on the internet. It's never going to go away.
It's called. It's funny. They're called servers, but they're keepers. They keep it. Okay. So, anyways, that's the long story. So next up.
So order something from Adafruit to support us.
That's what we're trying to say. So we're doing same day delivery in New York City. It's still working out great. People, if they order in New York City, pretty much a big chunk of Manhattan, and they order same day, it leaves, if they order before 11 a.m., it leaves and arrives by 5. We're trying to figure out the drone thing, but it's going to take time. Okay, next up, a little
We
reminder.
have to have drones that can like fly for more than 5 minutes.
A little reminder, every Wednesday night, we do the show and tell at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That was the thing before this thing.
And every Wednesday, what you're watching is Ask an Engineer.
This is the thing you're watching.
Okay, show and tell Lady Ada. Let's do this.
Yes.
Every week, people around the world show and share things. Reminder, we've been doing this for 4 years. As far as we know, and I hope someone tries
200 episodes.
Here's the thing.
Ish.
Everybody is kind of crummy on the internet, and so I want someone to correct us if we're wrong. Normally they do it when they're
Hey,
not,
you guys want to correct somebody?
yeah,
Correct us.
Here it is. If you know of a Google Plus Hangout that's gone on longer than 4 years, or also gone on for 4 years every single week, similar to show and tell.
This is your chance to show how right you
I
are.
am on the internet. I know something. So please let us know, because if not, it'd be really cool if Google said, "Hey, this is pretty cool." That
Like
you're
some
doing.
sort of plaque thing.
Maybe. Okay, so Lady Ada, what was on show and tell this week?
Show and tell was light and tart and sweet. We start off with Tony DeCola. He's been playing around with the Bluefruit Micro, which is our new Bluetooth Low Energy plus Arduino compatible at Mega 32U4 all-in-one board. And one of the things he's been playing with is this Noble library. It's called Noble, and it's a Node BLE library that actually works under Windows 7. And anyone who's ever done Bluetooth Low Energy is probably like, wait a minute, Windows 7 doesn't support Bluetooth Low Energy. You're probably talking about Windows 8 or Windows 10. Lady Ada, you are wrong. Well, you're wrong, because Sandeep actually got Noble working under Windows 7 by basically hand communicating with the Bluetooth Low Energy dongle from CSR to make it work under Windows 7. And so we tried it, and it works. You can do bidirectional communication with Windows 7, or of course, Mac or Linux or Windows 8, I believe, because Noble is supported by all those platforms. And so he's just showing off that he's made a little graphical interface to communicate with our Bluetooth Low Energy devices. So that's pretty cool, because I didn't think it was possible. Richard A. came by with more NeoPixel projects. He designed his own CNC cut NeoPixel board that was double-sided. It has a NeoPixel on both sides, and so when he makes his wearables, he doesn't have to worry about making sure that the LED is pointing out, especially for stuff like he had a boa, not a boa constrictor, but like a feathery thing, and he wanted to make sure that if it twisted, the LED would still light out, and so he did that. He also made a couple Ninja Flex unicorn horns from the project we did last week, little unicorn horn you can put in your head. We will be showing off photos of that for quite a while because it's super funny. And he stuck some flashing LEDs in there, and looks really cool. And he's making them from some burner friends, because Burning Man is tomorrow and last minute projects.
That Burning Man musical link that you sent me, that video was really funny.
It's hilarious.
They're right. 09 was peak. We were there.
What year were we there?
I think it was 09.
It was 07.
We went on a steam engine, and it went around the playa.
We did a lot of acid. What?
And then we wore.
Didn't really work.
I wore a top hat, and then the steam engine ran over a bicycle.
I worked on a project and it
scary.
worked. It was at Center Camp and it worked.
Yeah, I rode a bicycle
Which is pretty epic.
around, and I dragged, and I was pulling you on a rope, and you had inflatable rollerblades.
The rollerblades were great.
That was cool.
I think I threw those out. I don't have those anymore.
I don't know where they are. Anyways, we had fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Back to real life. Daniel L. Built a hand soldered 5x5x5 LED cube. It's epic looking. It's gigantic, and it has perf boards that he grabbed and he stacked them. So there's a Metro Mini that does the control, and then it's just layers of perf board, and then this awesome cube. So LED cube, that was a pretty hip to do for a while.
That was cool.
LED cubes. Steven came back again. Last week his microphone wasn't working, but this week it is, and he showed off his game system. He basically built an Arduino game system with a little Nokia display for graphics, and then some joysticks and buttons and stuff. And what's neat is he's going to write games for it right now. Just does a drawing program, and he drew the word show and tell. Congratulations. It's tough. It's a little Etch-a-Sketchy type program.
Yeah.
Daniel came by with a project that his mic didn't work, but it had something to do with a rabbit and a Raspberry Pi. Will show up next week, and it'll be great.
The rabbits look cute, but I couldn't tell what type of rabbits they were. Because I used to raise rabbits.
They looked like brown or black rabbits.
Yeah, I had regular rabbits, but the special rabbits that I had that I really like were Holland Lobs because they have little floppy ears and they're super cute.
So floppy.
They're super cute.
They're so floppy.
No matter.
Do they even have bones? Do they just like flop around?
No.
Like flop up? Okay.
No matter if you have a really bad day, stop, Google Holland Lob, and just hit images on whatever search engine you use, and just sit there and just be like, okay.
They're just like little
And then
meatballs.
it gets so sugary because they're so cute. You get like cavities through your eyes. It's weird.
Okay. And then how many did you have? Like 2?
I raised Holland Lobs. I had a bunch.
Yeah.
And I had them in 4-H and the county fair and stuff.
Okay.
Like
Did you show them?
Yeah, I got a ribbon. I won prizes for awards for raising a nice rabbit.
Most incredibly cute, or what?
No, it's like they look at certain things like how the rabbit is,
How rabbity is it?
Yeah, how rabbity
How
is.
flopsy is
Yeah.
its little floppy ears?
I think it was like.
How cute is your butt nose?
I think they just wanted kids to do something, and so like, hey, thanks for like.
Yeah,
raising
don't go to Burning Man.
Yeah, no,
Raise rabbits.
there was no Burning Man. This is a long time ago.
But now.
Yeah.
Desmond came by with a really cool Space Invader clock that has little animated Space Invaders. It looked like it used our 8x8 pixel breakouts, like our bicolor ones with square pixels. I wasn't 100% sure, but like it had little words and you press it. It was a really cool design, 3D printed and laser cut pieces. And then C. Scott came in with the latest Chrominius and just doing some shows and demos of the Chrominius controls. He's getting ready for KnobCon in Chicago. So if you're in Chicago, go to KnobCon, because that sounds like kind of fun, like analog synthesizer.
There's a cool conference for everything. I remember there was like the Dayton Handfest, and like there's only a couple things, and Maker Faire came along. Now there is something for everyone. Between the Comic-Cons and KnobFest and all this stuff, this is really, really neat. Very cool. Okay.
That's show and tell.
All participants on the show and tell get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com and we will send you an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. We've been doing this for 4 years, every single week.
Yes.
Data, if someone wants to get on the Show and Tell, what do they do?
It hasn't changed.
Nope.
I've had to do this 200 times, but I'll do it again.
Do it again.
Go to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/plus Adafruit. Look for the comment thread with Adabot saying comment here to get added to the Show and Tell circle. Comment there, not 5 seconds before the show. Give us some time, like an hour or two would be awesome. And then you will be put in the circle, and then every single week you will be invited at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, that's New York time, to get on the Show and Tell. And you can show off your crafting, hacking, cosplay, sewing, makerspace, tools, Radio Shack memorabilia, ham radios, woodworking, whatever, anything that's fun and cool, just show it off.
I have a preference now. If someone wants to show something that they're trying to figure out if, should I show this or not or whatever, I really like the combination of what we see some of the younger folks doing, a combination of taking care of like livestock and pets or animal friends.
4-H project, yeah, we had a 4-H project.
Definitely 4-H style stuff, sensors and Internet of Things devices, because I think that's a perfect combination of
raising chickens.
Yeah,
bring them on.
Yeah, and it's kind of the future. Like the next thing that we think that's probably going to come along is like biohacking and like being able to do sensor networks with animals and with
like Chinese chickens, right?
Yeah, I like the Chinese chickens, and then also with growing plants and food.
Since we're getting the upstairs floor, do you want to like get chickens and like raise them on the roof?
We can't. This is an industrial space. We can't. But
But we get goth chickens.
Yeah, there is a goth chicken thing. But I think it's good for kids to raise animals in some way. Give them something to do. But also combining with technology is really neat. Anyways, okay. Next up.
Okay, censorify your goth chickens.
Yeah. Pack of the mailbag. Every single week we read letters to the entire company, and we also read them here on Ask an Engineer. This is from TS. First, I can't say enough about Adafruit. Your company, staff, site, mission, everything. I have learned so much and continue to from you. Additionally, I've never been disappointed with any product purchase from you. Thank you so much, TS. Thank you, TS. We appreciate that.
Thanks,
Thank you for sending us that email. Next up, the Adafruit Jobs Board. We started this. I don't know how long we've been doing it. I think it's been like 3 years now.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Adafruit Job Board is a place where people can post their skills, and a cool company will say, I need someone like them, and I can hire them. Or it's a cool company that says, I know there's cool people with cool skills who look at the Adafruit site. I want to hire someone like that. So,
you want a job? You want to give people jobs?
We've been doing this for a bit. The thing is,
there's volunteer work. It doesn't have to be for money if you want to.
The thing is, we look at each one, and we don't let recruiters and scammers and all that stuff.
Yeah, we don't have any of that. Like,
and you know what? They
headhunter
actually
stuff.
kind of moved on. They tried for a really long time, and they moved on because we're just like, no.
No, they have a list of like where to
Yeah,
go,
they're like, no.
and we're not.
Yeah.
But we don't charge, so it's kind of interesting. We have the best of all worlds, but it's just we want it to be.
There's no funny business.
We want it to be like makery, so it can't just be like generic. Hey, we need a back end developer for some web startup in Bay Area.
Yeah. Well, actually,
it's a little bit more
the
than that.
scam, and I've mentioned this on other shows, is people will put up fake jobs. You apply for it, you put all your information, then they do identity theft. Sucks. Okay.
Yeah, because you just put in your name, your social security number, your phone number. Like you just gave away all your info.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay. So this week's job, this one is looking for someone who knows the Nordic NRF51. This is at Echo Design in New York. We're looking for someone who has experience with writing and uploading firmware to the Nordic NRF51 chip. If you work with this Nordic chip and live in the NYC area, please reply with your resume and your hourly rate. Simply put, we need someone to write firmware for sending numbers to serial and upload it to the chip.
Hey, it's if you've ever done anything with the Cortex M0, it's kind of a demo example for the Nordic. So this could be a good gig. Yeah, everyone wants to do Bluetooth Low Energy.
Yeah.
We love the Nordic NRF chip, super stable.
All right, I wanted to do a little bit of open source hardware news. So we're an open source hardware company. Still, and some of the news that we have this week. I should probably eventually make this logo like.
Yeah,
this
is like every week.
I know, it moves around, and I don't know.
It does not move around.
It moves around. It moves around. Anyways, so we're an open source hardware company, and we're celebrating our 6 years of doing Ask an Engineer. Should we tell the lore of how Ask an Engineer started?
Go for it.
We got a free webcam.
I'm gonna sneeze.
We had a free webcam we plugged in when we were shipping, and someone said, "Can I buy something?" And you ship it.
Which actually it's the same webcam that we use for show and tell. No.
No, we've upgraded.
Oh no, that was the Microsoft one. Now this is the Logitech. They look the same.
Yeah.
They look the same. They
Yeah.
don't have the blue LED with the ring.
No, it's
thing.
a Logitech cam, but it was we had it plugged into the shipping station, and I convinced.
We basically was like periscoping.
Yeah, and I convinced you to let me do it, and I said, "Hey, this is UStream, and do you care?" I mean, I don't think you like it at first, but then I said, "Hey, we don't have to maybe travel as much someday," and so we started doing the show, and people would type in the chat, and they would say, "If I order something right now," and this is when we had like 10 orders a day. It was like super slow, and now we have like over 1,000 orders.
Yeah, we would actually go to the post office
Yeah.
and like drop the orders off.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's how it started, and then we started doing it weekly. We also did a project together called Citizen Engineer, and we had a lot of fun with it. We hacked a payphone, we had a red box, we showed SIM card hacking, and we wanted to do that as a regular series, but then we started doing this live thing, and I think live things are neat. We do recorded videos that are scripted, and we have cameras and lights and everything like Circuit Playground, but the live experience is kind of cool because we don't rehearse. There's a periscope over here. There's this. This is just it. Like, I think that's neat, and like, what's cool is
There's no script.
over the course of 6 years, I've watched you answer so many questions so fast. I think that it's clear that you know your shit, as they say in the biz.
Nah, it's all bullshit. It's
Really?
all lies.
No, you do. You know your stuff. Okay. So, anyways, that's
It's all fake. It's all front.
Yeah, that's a model.
There's really some guy who does.
There's
all the
some guy.
engineering.
There's a puppet that runs the Lady Ada. So as far as I know, this is the longest running only live electronics show, certainly for 6 years. And we recently started doing Periscope, and we're doing a very specific type of Periscope.
Why Periscope?
Well,
Because you mentioned this like 5 times. Like, I've never asked you,
we're trying
why,
it out.
why are you doing this?
Because we have 84,000 people that follow us on Twitter, and we're doing very quick live things. So we wanted to do a series called From the Desk of Lady Ada. So the New York Times came out, and they looked at your desk. And they looked at your desk.
It looks pretty much the same
It was messy,
now.
and it says there's a method to my desk madness. And they did an interview with you and said, what's going on with your desk? You have all this stuff going on. And so we kind of came up with this idea. Here's the desk of Lady Ada. So you have an oscilloscope, you don't have a cell phone, you listen to music, you have sandals, you have a desk lamp, you have your calipers.
I use the calipers a lot.
And so what we're thinking is, and this is what we've been doing recently, is every time you're designing something in Eagle, and here's a couple screenshots. From home, or even from here, that it'd be cool to show you designing electronics as it happens. So this is from the desk of Lady Ada. What's amazing is 142 people watched, I think last night, you working on like a GPS or a cell phone shield, and you talk about how you're doing it. It's amazing to watch. And what's neat is people say things like, you said, oh, it'd be great if I could hide some ground wires. And Rick said, hey, you can hide some of the air wires. So like there's a neat exchange going back and forth.
I learned something.
Yeah, so anyways, we're trying this out. It's really neat. I think this live thing is special. We'll see how it goes. And the other part of the open source hardware news of the night is something big finally happened. So a while ago, we passed our 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And we got a letter in the mail today. This is from the CEO of YouTube. This is from Susan. And she said, you've just done something very few YouTube creators accomplish. An astounding 100,000 people subscribe to your channel. You can read the letter. It's on our site. But we wanted to get this thing for a while, and because it was promised. And so here it is. This is it.
We were gonna go there and kill them if they didn't give it to us.
Yeah,
it's a glossy.
It's a silver play button in a frame, and it says Adafruit, and we have 100,000 subscribers. So really cool. Thank you everyone who subscribed to the channel.
And then if we get to 1 million,
I think there's a gold one.
There's a gold one.
So anyways,
we have to get there.
It's just a we don't know if anyone likes this show, but we have this many people subscribe to it, so we kind of know, and so we keep doing it. So it's a little physical reminder that we like doing this, and you guys like us doing it, so we're going to keep doing it. So thank you. Okay.
So much video.
Yeah. Next up, Arduino news this week. Really big news. This is the biggest news ever, in fact. You always hear about the companies that are just like, they're going to be big.
They're billion-dollar companies.
Billion-dollar companies.
Billion-dollar valuation.
Worldwide stock markets crumble when these companies go public. They're just like
crumble. You mean they increase?
The stockbrokers crumble.
They just are scared.
This company's gonna be so successful.
It's so much.
But I want to short a stock.
No. Okay.
So big announcement about Arduino. They are now a unicorn company.
Epic.
I'm just gonna leave that there. Okay. One other note: we're still making Arduinos. We cannot say how many we're shipping, but we are shipping a lot.
We're getting ready to do the megas.
They are agonized over by goths in New York City. Okay.
If you watch the Periscope, you can listen to me listening to Joy Division while I do circuit board layout.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Adafruit Learning System, a whopping 840 tutorials.
Yes, we hit 840 today.
Yeah.
I know it's not 850, but I just felt like it was a nice round number.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Okay, first one. What is this?
This is a mini tutorial. It's super short and sweet, but I still wanted to put it up. This is a project that we actually use here at Adafruit, and since we built 2 of them, I wanted to document it. And while I was documenting, I was like, yeah, this is going to be something that other people might want as well. When we get shipments in of stuff that connects to USB, like cameras, like USB webcams, or like I'm trying to think what else, like keyboards or SD readers or whatever, basically anything that plugs into a USB, which like almost everything does. Each USB device has a unique number associated with that manufacturing chip called the VID and the PID. And the vendor ID is unique for the company, and the product ID is unique for the product. So Adafruit has a VID 239A, and Arduino has one, and like SparkFun has one, and Apple has like 8,000 of them because they have so many USB devices. They probably have like 4 or 5. Like basically every company has a VID, and then each unique product gets a PID. And if the chip isn't programmed, if it's like a core chip, like a Wi-Fi adapter, for example, like a Wi-Fi dongle, that VID and PID is stable. It's the same for all of them, and because it's like this Well-Link 5781 chip or whatever. And so knowing the VID and PID is really, really helpful for QC process. So when we get a shipment of USB dongles in, it's not unheard of for like a factory to substitute a different chip and they don't tell you, or they ship you the wrong thing. So, and it's happened. We've had, a long time ago, we had a shipment of USB keyboards with the chipset changed and it no longer worked under Linux. Sucks. So what we do now is we actually plug it into this, and it tells you the VID and PID, and that lets us know that the chipset has not changed. We also use this to test our Floras, for example. So before Floras get shipped, there's a QC process after we make them and test them, where we plug one in and make sure that the VID and PID show up and enumerates. That lets us know that we programmed in the bootloader correctly and didn't get swapped with something else by accident. It's just like another check mark. So we do that for like trinkets and per trinkets and Floras and Bluefruit micros, just to make sure that the VID and PID matches what it should be, and that it shows up as a USB device. It's a very handy little dongle. You need a Mega ADK. But anyways, I think it's really useful for anybody who does any sort of quality control or process checking.
Interesting historical thing about USB VID PIDs. Look it up. Search for Apple Palm VID PID. Palm wanted to pretend to be an iPod when Palm was doing stuff.
Yeah,
and
they had a little software thing.
They changed their VID PID to Apple, and Apple's.
They did change the PID. I believe they had a little software thing that went in between.
Yeah,
you didn't actually use it?
Yeah, and I think it was Apple's trademark, and they said you can't do that. So, anyways, look it up. There's probably more details, but interesting. I have to refer to it once in a while because USB VID PIDs are owned by companies.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting story. Anyways,
it's useful little tool.
Okay, this one is going to be for the video we're going to show shortly. It's a 10-inch Raspberry Pi desktop. It's very cool. It's a tablet.
Huge.
It's a keyboard. And this goes along with the new product Lady Ada is going to show. This is the Phona 3G cellular GPS breakout.
A little breakout, a little tutorial.
And then this.
Showing pinouts.
Yeah, and then this next project is, I think, kind of the thing that represents Adafruit in so many ways. So this is the Morningstar POV double staffs. And this is from Aaron St. Blaine and Phil B. took the photos. This is absolutely amazing. This is beautiful. This is art. And here's some additional photos. I mean, this is just so cool.
Yeah, they just took a bunch of photos, and you can program an image, and then when you twirl these staffs around, like they're like this long, and you twirl them around. And so what we're using is dot star LEDs, which are like neopixels, but they're higher quality. So that lets you do POV effects. So instead of looking like kind of like dotty and not smooth, like very pixelated color. The dot stars have very smooth color because of the high PWM rate, and so you can do stuff like this where you twirl it around and it actually looks like you can see the image. It's not just for light painting, it's actually for sense of vision. So we did this for the LED Poi that we released like a month ago, and Aaron was just like, awesome, well I do all sorts of like dancing with LED things, so I'm going to make like a staff, and maybe they'll make like a long staff, and then maybe they'll make like juggling clubs. So they'll make a couple different versions and show you can use the same code. It's a Pro Trinket, battery backpack, and some dot star LEDs, and you can make like a whole.
If anyone ever asks you like, what's the point of all this? This is it. I mean, it really is. It's beautiful. It's science. It's art. It's just
glowy.
cool. It's just cool. Okay.
Okay.
Next up.
It's a cool project. This photo is it's awesome.
Every week we have a cool comic book that we post up on the Adafruit site. We discovered everyone at Adafruit pretty much reads comic books. Zay is on a roll. He's done a few different ones. This is kind of neat. This one is Static from Milestone Comics, so by Dwayne McDuff. And this one's interesting because Zay was saying there wasn't anyone like him when he was growing up in the comic books. So he wanted someone who's kind of like him and was like maybe from the same neighborhoods as he was, looked like him. And so this is kind of neat. Zay has a huge review of this comic. Check it out, especially if you're looking for something that's not the normal, just like, so Captain America.
Milestone Comics is like a comic publishing house? It looks like there's multiple
different...
I
think that's a publishing house, but Static is the one that one of the ones he reviewed.
That's cool.
Okay, yeah, that's really neat. I'm learning about new comics I never heard of. I'm just like, this is so cool.
Yeah, there's. I remember seeing a drawing of like all the comic book characters in like the Marvel universe, or maybe it was the DC universe, and it was like there's more people with blue skin than with like not white.
I know, and it's a shame.
You are more likely to be a cat person than someone who's African American or Hispanic.
Yeah, and like things are changing.
Filipino.
But what's cool is when you go to a Comic-Con or talk to anyone who's really into comic books, it's so diverse and there's so many different types of people. It'd be cool to see the characters start to represent that. Anyways, next up, time travel.
Blue-skinned people are well represented.
Yeah, totally. We have way too many Dr. Manhattans. Okay. So time travel. This week it's kind of a big week. I'm just gonna say it.
What?
Well,
just say it.
Yeah. So where'd the graphics go?
I don't know.
My graphic's gone.
Do we have to mime the graphics?
No, I had a graphic in here. It disappeared.
It went back in time.
It was the trick question. That's weird. Anyways, I had a graphic here, but it's not here. Today is Women's Suffrage Day, and it's celebrating the 19th Amendment.
Yay!
So
I can vote. I have voted.
95 years ago, women got the same rights for voting for men.
Yay!
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Suffrage.
Yeah, worked out.
Okay.
So that said, we have a post on the Adafruit site. A bunch of progress still didn't happen up until 1972. If you were around, you wouldn't have been able to get a credit card on your own.
Wow.
That sucks.
Well, that's actually interesting because, credit cards were, or like charge cards, I guess. Yeah, it's interesting. Adafruit on a credit card, so it's
Yeah.
good I could get a credit card. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have gotten that first order of like Mauser Electronics.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know where my graphic went, but anyways, I'll try to find it later.
Okay, we can toss it in and get back to it afterwards.
I'll try to do that. Okay. Wearables. Wearables has a very cool milestone. 2 years we've been doing.
I
electronic
sense a
cookies.
theme.
Yeah, we seem to be starting shows in August. So we're starting the Periscope thing in August, so we'll see. All right.
Why do you think that is? Why is it August?
Do you want me to tell you why? So we raced really hard to get through the holidays to ship all the orders.
Right.
And then we launch a bunch of stuff, lots of efforts. And then kind of 8 months in to the year, that's when we see them start to happen. Summer hits, it gets really slow because a lot of people are on vacation, and that's when it's time to reflect and say, what type of new creative efforts do we want to start now while there's a little bit of a lull? And so every August it seems to be there. And mostly because a lot of annoying people in the world are on vacation, and like you email them, they audit. Like it's like a lot of businessy stuff. Like it's the overhead business stuff goes away. Like if you email like a lawyer or a banker or something, like a lot of things that are just annoying, they're gone. They're not bugging you.
Yeah.
Their salespeople are gone. They're not bugging you.
And it's true. Like I got a big break because so many people were on vacation in
less
August.
spam.
I got less email.
Yeah, we're getting less spam. So it's actually a nice time to reflect. So that's why the creative things seem to come up in August. There might be other reasons, but I think that's what it is. Okay, so here's a video from Becky this week. This is sewing the perfect NeoPixel.
So you want to stitch the glowing circuit with conductive thread, huh? That's great. Today I'm going to show you how to stitch up the perfect NeoPixel circuit using your Flora or Gemma microcontroller. Let's get started. These sewable NeoPixels have the same addressable RGB LEDs as NeoPixel strips and rings, but the circuit boards have large pads designed for stitching with conductive thread. For just a few pixels, 2-ply stainless steel thread works great and is a bit easier to wrangle than the thicker 3-ply, which I'd use for any circuit with more than 5 pixels. If your project has more than 20 pixels in it, you should upgrade to silicone-coated stranded wire. Choose a needle that fits through the hole, but whose eye is still large enough for the conductive thread. Another important tool is an embroidery hoop. This will keep your fabric taut so it's easier to work with, resulting in a cleaner finished project. If you're working on a heavy fabric like a winter coat, you could get away without one. I always stitch the center data lines first, then follow up with the power and ground buses. Before you start stitching, mark where your components will go with tailor's chalk, a disappearing marking pen, or sewing pins. Decide which side of your fabric you want your knots to be on and pierce through the fabric with your needle and pull it almost all the way through, leaving about a 3-inch tail for hand tying later. Stitch around the data pad on your Flora or Gemma a few times, then continue over to the input of your first pixel. Make short stitches by bringing the needle up and down through the fabric at close intervals. This is called a running stitch and is the most common stitch you'll use for hand sewing with conductive thread. Patience is key here. Big stitches can be very problematic later on. Stitch around this pad several times, very tightly, and even tie a knot here before stitching back towards the origin to tie the ends together. Over time, the springy steel may loosen and cause intermittent connection problems. Stitch back to the tail you started with and tie the ends together in a square knot. It won't stay tied, however, unless you glue it. I use clear nail polish for this, since it's easy to apply, dries quickly and clear, and holds firm over time. I haven't found another glue that shares all of these properties yet, but I have seen super glue, hot glue, and fray check all fail in one or more major categories. As it's drying, keep tugging on the thread tails to keep the knot tight. And when it looks like nothing's moving anymore, you can sew another data line from the output of this pixel to the input of the next. But don't trim your thread tails yet. After the data connections are done, it's time to stitch power and ground, each of which are done using one long strand to connect up all the positives to V out and all the negatives to ground. Tie your thread tails into knots nearby, but not directly on the circuit boards, so that no adhesive gets in the way of the electrons flowing from the board to the thread. Now it's time to test the circuit. Trim your thread tails and clean up your workspace so there aren't any stray bits of thread hanging around. Plug in your microcontroller over USB and then load the NeoPixel sample sketch using the Arduino software and watch your fabric circuit light up. Refer back to this technique when you're making projects like the motion-activated sparkle skirt, Pac-Man pixel suspenders, Cortana costume, or any of our other conductive thread wearables projects you can find on the Adafruit Learning System. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have questions, post them up in the comments and I'll tackle them every week on our live wearables show. Don't forget to subscribe to Adafruit on YouTube.
Reminder, Wearable Electronics Becky Stern is every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was on today. And we're periscoping with that too. 182 people saw the behind the scenes today.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
bad.
it's like live stream life.
Yeah. I was complaining about something behind the scenes on Periscope.
If you want to hear Phil complain,
Yeah, I know.
go to our Periscope page.
It was stating facts that are terrible. Okay.
If you want to hear who Phil hates.
No, there's no hate. I just got love. I just wish other people had as much love. Okay. 3D printing. Are you ready for that theme again? Not the musical theme. So 3D Hangouts is celebrating a year.
I thought you meant I was like theme song. I was like, where do mariachi band? So what's?
No, the band's not in tonight. But we've been doing.
1 year. How
3D
come they get a really nice?
What?
Theirs is
super
like.
nice? What's wrong with it?
There's like flare effects.
Yeah, but that's
ours just says 6 years. It's like,
yeah, this is. But we're each show has a different style. This is the style that our show is. This one, it's 3D. Everything has to have like
pop.
Yeah, everything has to have like lens flare. I gotta ask them not to do so much lens flare.
No, it's fine. It's just funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, every Thursday at 3 p.m. we have 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. We're gonna show a video in a second. I'm gonna combine the segments. This is Raspberry Pi video with 3D printing with Noah and Pedro. This is the 10-inch Raspberry Pi tablet computer.
In this project, we're building a Raspberry Pi 2 desktop with a 10.1-inch display. The enclosure is 3D printed and fits several components to make an all-in-one Raspberry Pi desktop. This is a 10.1-inch HDMI IPS display. It has a resolution of 1280 by 800 and it's really thin and has great angle visibility. We'll use mounting tabs around the edge to embed it to our 3D printed bezel. We printed the 3-piece enclosure with the Type A machine Series 1. The parts were designed in Fusion 360, and it's a sketch-driven design so you can rearrange the components or add new ones to make a custom build. We used extra wide blue painter's tape on the glass bed to help avoid warping and lifting. Lay the parts down on the enclosure to gauge wire length. You'll want to measure distances and add extra slack. The guide on the Adafruit Learning System has a full tutorial with step-by-step instructions. We got the link for you in the description. The components are mounted to the enclosure with screws and fastened top down. This will actually make it so the screws aren't seen on the back panel. The display is mounted to the second half of the enclosure and secured together with machine screws. You can create a custom logo on the back of the panel by adding a cutout. The backlighting of the display actually shines through the panel, illuminating our logo. So we're using this project to monitor our farm of bots, and it's going to serve as a dedicated shop computer. Let us know in the comments how you would customize this project. Thanks so much for watching and subscribe for more projects from Adafruit.
Woo, okay. All right. So we're done with the Pi video for the week.
Okay.
And
It's a gigantic tablet.
yeah. And before we go on to new products, I want to remind everyone, 6 years is a code, 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, except for gift certificates and software. Remember, your purchases keep Adafruit going, keeps it commercial-free, ad-free, sponsorship-free, venture capitalist-free, loan-free. You wouldn't want us talking to Goldman Sachs.
Acquisition-free.
Acquisition-free. I think we're one of the few independent companies out there that do what we do, so let's keep it up. Hey, Lady Ada.
Okay.
It's time for new products.
New.
Yeah.
New.
All right,
new.
let's do this thing. First, Medisa.
This is the Minty Synth kit. This is a fun synth kit from, I don't know the name of the company.
You like things in Minty.
Mallory Stringed Instruments. I like things in tins. This is a great kit. It's not too hard. There's a bunch of components, but you can put it together as a little laser cut thing. You need to get a tin. We can use an Altoids tin. And this is what it looks like. We can
Play
get
that
it.
funky music.
Oh, hold on.
Play it.
Shh. I have to have it over here. Okay, and then I'm going to zoom in. Actually, hold on. No, bad. Good.
Do you
Okay.
want me to zoom in more?
No. It's
Okay.
great. It's great. It's checking the lights.
Are you all ready?
I'm ready now.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got like 5 knobs and you got some buttons, and you can check the quick start guide for all the stuff you can do, but I'll just have it run the demo. So you have like a nice music, and you can change the tempo. Or you can change like the effects, the voices.
Okay. It's a little pocket synth that fits in Minton. That's cool.
Yeah, that's fun. You can bleep, and you can write your own. You can enter in your own songs using the buttons. I didn't have time to do it, so I'm just going to run the demo program. But you can basically like tweak multiple different effects, and it's kind of a nice synth, and it sounds really good for an AVR synth. And it's Arduino compatible. You have a little FTDI port over here. You plug in an FTDI cable, and you can reprogram it and check out the software. And it's totally open source.
Okay. All right. Next up. So this is fun. This is the Displayatron hat from Pimeroni. These folks are friends of ours, and
This is an
the
update.
video didn't- you're gonna
Wait,
be able to show it.
that's a video.
No, was it?
Yeah, this not this one. The next one. Click the next.
Was it?
Yeah, it's on
Okay,
there.
great. Oh, phew. Okay. I thought because I'm doing multiple syncs.
No, I
with
know.
this,
It's
okay.
crazy.
All right, anyways, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, because I didn't have a demo because this video is great. So so they have the Displayatron 3000, which already existed, and it was like a shield type thing for Raspberry Pi, and now they have the hat version, so it's exactly hat shaped and it's hat compatible. It comes with capacitive touch buttons, 16:3 LCD, it has RGB LEDs in the background. It's a really nice RGB character display. It comes fully assembled, works with the Raspberry Pi, all the different kinds, except for the Model 1B. It works with the B+, the Pi 2, the A+, but not the ones with the 2x13, and it works with the current ones that have the longer strip of pins.
Okay.
It is lovely. You can easily program it with all sorts of stuff, as you can see.
Okay. Next up.
This is the piano hat. It has 2 times 8 capacitive touch sensors on there. So it basically has 16 capacitive buttons, and they're arranged in kind of a piano keyboard style where there's a full octave control, and as well as octave up, octave down, and then some other button. I can't remember. If you go to the next button, I'll see it. Octave up, octave down instruments. So there's some software that they wrote in Python, so you can basically turn it into a little synthesizer. The white LEDs light up when you touch. It's a very cute little hat.
Super cute.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up. We just put these in right before the show. This was the Bakelite.
Bakelite perf board. So we actually had a request for this because this is something that people would usually get from Radio Shack, and of course Radio Shack doesn't really exist
No more
anymore.
Radio Shack.
So
Still fun,
if
Radio
you want to get perf board from us, we have it. So this is Bakelite, and Bakelite, it's not FR4, what is mostly used for circuit boards these days. Instead, it's a paper phenolic with a very, very thin fiberglass coating that you use just enough just to kind of hold it together. And what's good about this stuff is that you can basically cut it with scissors. So if you go to the overhead, I will show you.
I'm going to go to the overhead. To the overhead.
We're using these nice scissors that are like, intense crafty scissors. Just because if you have like a nice pair of fabric scissors, don't use those. But you shouldn't use those for even cutting paper. And then, you have a sheet of this stuff, and then you just cut it down sort of like it was perforated paper. And so you can cut custom shapes. So like, let's say I want something that's more rounded. You can cut it, and it still has all the pads on the bottom. And so this has been historically used basically this way to make custom shapes. And like if you're making a project and you're like, oh, I have to fit in a box.
Wow. You're just like,
It's going crazy. You can basically make it any shape you want.
so it's like a skull PCB.
It's very skull. Yeah, good point. Very skull like. Maybe we'll give it a little bit more chin. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
good.
for skull part.
More skulls.
Yeah.
So let's say you want to have a circuit board that looks like a skull. It has the standard 0.1 inch space pads. They're all copper pads. They're not connected to each other. So what you do is we have a video from Colin's lab about perforating breadboard, and you basically fold wires over and solder them point to point, and you can sort of drag solder over it. And that's how you would make a circuit, like this little Arduino compatible that we made on the perf board. And the good news about this stuff is, okay, so it's not double-sided. You don't get pads on both sides because it's not through-hole plated. But that's okay. For most projects, this is fine. You just solder on the bottom. But it's very easy to cut, very easy to customize, and it's really inexpensive. So you get like 10 sheets of this stuff for $5. It's 50 cents a sheet. It just comes in a pack of 10, and like you can use that for like years.
Okay, I think this is the first time anyone's ever done live cutting like this on the internet. Until they pass laws against it, we're going to keep doing it. Okay,
Yep.
Next up, Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity, stopping by.
Ooh.
Hey, I don't want to store all your data forever. I want to.
What do you want?
So one of the things I wanted to mention is when we do these Internet of Things projects, we try to stick to the thing that you came up with, Internet Things Bill of Rights, and basically like open is better. And so we're getting ready to open up all of Adafruit.io to everyone. Right now it's beta, private beta. We want more people to join it. And some of the things and some of the products.
Also, it's for like really advanced people right now. Just 'cause
Yeah,
we
super
keep finding
advanced.
not like bugs, but like and like requests and stuff.
We got some MQTT working with the IFTTT, working with the Zapier. So anyways, lots of stuff's happening. Our If Then This That channel should be live soon. Anyways, sign up for the beta because everyone's going to be able to access it soon. However, make a long story short, we have a product, and there's like a couple different versions of it, but the main thing is, and this is the star of the show beside you tonight, it's a Phono 3G.
Yay, it's the Phono 3G, as has been requested. And we'll see if those people who requested it actually bought
Everyone's
one.
like, you got 3G, you got 3G. Yes, we have 3G.
So historically, all of our cellular products and most cellular products on the market for makers have been 2G. So it's GSM or GPRS. And those are fine. You can actually use T-Mobile in the United States, and that's a GSM network. But like if you want to use AT&T, it isn't. Unless you have a very old AT&T SIM, you can't get on the GSM network, and the GSM network under AT&T is going to close down in 2017. So like even if you did have a 2G SIM, eventually it would stop working. So we do suggest T-Mobile for 2G SIM users. 2G is very inexpensive. It works pretty well. It has pretty good coverage. There's universal coverage in like Europe and China. However,
What SIM card can run this? Our Tings?
our Ting, which is a T-Mobile distributor, basically any T-Mobile.
Okay.
T-Mobile in the United States, T-Mobile distributors. Almost everything that isn't like AT&T or T-Mobile, if it has like Simple Mobile or like Boost Mobile, they're all T-Mobile distributors. So like you just ask them, hey, who's the carrier? If it's T-Mobile, that means you can use your network. There's only 2 networks in the United States. Anyways, so if you are cool with using a T-Mobile or Ting SIM, 2G is fine. Grab with one of our Phono 800s or 808s, which is a GSM network module. They're inexpensive, they're low power, they're very fully featured. A lot of good stuff going on there. However, if you need 3G, we also have that option. So this is a 3G module. It uses Qualcomm. I have a decapped photo of it somewhere on the product page or in the tutorial. It uses a Qualcomm chipset to basically connect to HSDPA WCDMA. I don't remember the exact thing, but basically I used it connected to the 3G network. This means you can use pretty much any SIM in the world because everything now is 3G compatible.
And we have 2 different versions. We have American version, European version.
That's right. The trade-off is, unlike GSM, which is like quad band all in one, there's 2 versions. There's the A version for America, and the E version for Europe. So you can't swap them. You have to make sure you get the right one.
Okay.
Because the frequencies are different, and the frequencies aren't support they can't change frequencies from one to the other.
Okay.
The other trade-off is it's a much more expensive because it's just a much complicated chipset, and it uses more power because it is a higher bandwidth chipset as well. Also, it's optimized. It's much larger too. I mean, there's like a lot of unfortunately, not downsides, but there's trade-offs. If you want 3G, it's not going to be as inexpensive as 2G. It's not going to be as low power. It's not going to be as simple to use. There's some differences between this module and the Phono 800 and 808. So if you're, some basic stuff like calling and SMSs and that stuff works. But the TCP/IP under pinning, the way you do TCP/IP is different. It's different enough that it's basically not supported right now.
Yeah.
We will try to add support, but it's not as nice and happy as the 800 or 808, which
Yeah,
like made it like really, really easy.
We
Like
worked on that a
this is
lot.
an earlier module,
Yeah.
so they didn't figure that out as much.
Yeah, so if you're out there and you like hacking around with this type of stuff, please help and contribute to the library.
Yeah, if you want, but it's also like you're kind of a little bit more on your own. Like this is not, despite being a 3G module and so more universal support, it doesn't have as much documentation.
And
that said, it's a 3G module.
Yeah.
It is it. You wanted it.
Y'all asked for it.
You wanted it. We got it.
Yeah, and the other thing is, eventually the 2G network probably will go away, but it's still used. Yeah, I know.
Not for a while. I mean, there's millions.
For the panicky people, you could get this now.
I'm not concerned about it. I think there will be a 2G network in the United States. I mean, every
like Coke machine has a thing.
Machine to machine is GSM. Yeah. They're all using GSM because until very recently, only the last 5 years, you could not get 3G modules. Like this is very new, and they were so expensive.
We might be one of the only cell phone manufacturers in the U.S. right now.
Yay.
Yeah.
So 3G. So if you're wondering, well, where's like 4G LTE? You're not going to pay for it. If you thought this was expensive, the LTE modules are really, really expensive, and I think it's basically a Linux computer with like a PCMCIA slot. Like we'll get there.
Get an Android phone and just like.
One nice thing about these 3G modules that is a little nice compared to the Fona is you can plug it into at least a Windows computer, which I did, and it shows up as COM ports.
That's nice.
And a modem. So you can actually,
Ooh.
I haven't tried it, but I believe you can just tether directly through it. So if you want to use it as a tether, that'll just work.
That's cool. Okay, next up.
Oh, there's also a GPS.
Yeah.
But it's not as good as the Fona 800 GPS, 808 GPS. It does work, but it's not as fast.
And that, Lady Ada, is new products.
Yay.
Good work. Okay. A little reminder before we jump into a couple more things. The code is 6 years, 10% off in the Adafruit store. Supports us. This show keeps it going for maybe another 6 years. Who knows? We're now going to go into a top secret segment before we start answering questions. This is top secret. These are things that aren't out yet. Don't ask. Lady Ada, you just sent off protos.
Yay, it is a proto day.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Some Wednesdays I have time, I send off protos. So this is more than usual. Usually I don't send off 14 boards, but it doesn't matter because you pay by you basically pay by the size. And even though this is big, it's not so big. This is 2 shields. I made a Fona 3G shield, which we periscoped me laying it out. We also have a BLE shield because we have the Bluefruit LE modules, and so we're like, we should make a shield version. That's the one on the lower left. K-Town did that one. The module is so small and it does everything. It has like the antenna. You need a little bit of level shifting, and then there's a lot of space for proto.
Yeah. And
then to the right of that, I'm experimenting with making kind of a standardized shape for a breadboard friendly, like at Mega 32U4 or at SAM21D G18 sort of thing, where it's like, it's got USB and battery charging, and then it's like cell phone or data logging or Bluetooth LE. And then you'd have little add-on boards on top that add like GPS or OLED or prototyping. So that's kind of the little sticky type ones. They look a little bit like candy bars. And then I have a TRS breakout because I couldn't find TRS jacks. We have a TRS plug that you can like solder to, but not a jack. And a lot of people need TRS, like the four pole jacks. And then to the right is a little Mega 32U4 like experimentation thing I'm working on. And up top is 3 testers. So these are the boards that we use in production to test, because we test every single item. So you can sort of see like there's a row of pins that connects to the breakout, and then it goes on an Arduino, and the Arduino actually runs the test to make sure that all the pins are connected and it's acting the way it should.
Okay. All right. And that is top secret for tonight. Thank you, everyone. Don't ask. I do have something that I want to ask you, though. So for these boards, how do you decide what color the prototypes will be? When you send
I change out the color. I think this one's purple.
Purple?
I basically, when I have finished an entire prototype panel, I like recycle that color. And so purple is the only one that I don't have anything like actively working on.
Okay.
So that way I know exactly when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I know what revision that came from.
Okay. All right, so it's now time to do some questions. Post your questions up in the YouTube chat, in the IRC chat for Ustream, the Flash, I think it's still made out of Flash chat. We'll get to them as fast as we can, and we'll start answering things. First question is, someone's thinking about getting into electronics, and the big question comes up all the time.
What keyboard do you know what?
Yeah, where do you think they should start? Arduino, Raspberry Pi, BeagleBone? Where is it? What's one of the first things they should start with?
I would start with an Arduino, like an Arduino starter kit that we have, or better yet, the ArtX kit, because the ArtX kit has no soldering required. And just go through the 17 lessons. Just try it out. I mean, that's the best way to get started.
Okay.
It's under $100, and you'll have a lot of parts left over. So like once you're done with done with all the tutorials, you'll still have lots of parts.
Okay. Can you use an Arduino Pro Micro as USB transfer?
You can. You can basically program it in to be a USB to UART converter. Or you can do it. I mean, like it basically has. It has like the Pro. I think I'm assuming they meant the Pro Trinket. The Pro Trinket has USB native, which can do like HID. It can't do serial, but it can do like keyboard and mouse type stuff, as well as HID messages. And then the Micro, which is the Arduino Micro, can do USB natively as well, and it has like more support for like mass storage and USB.
Okay.
And serial and stuff. I can do more complicated ones.
Are the weatherproof TTL serial JPEG PID 613 and the Adafruit Phone 800 Shield GSM for cellular compatible with the Arduino Yun?
We've never tried them. I mean, I don't see
You'd
why
have to
not.
write a bunch of code.
But you'd have to write the code.
Yeah, I think they all work, but you'd have to write some code. Let's see. What are we going to do? A tear down of the play button? No, I think we're going to leave it in the frame.
It's kind of solid.
I had a quick question. Does the agonized over Goss and NYC logo go below or above the Arduino and Heart logo? I don't know. Right now, we're just going to try to fit it somewhere. We're going to have a little gothy flag.
It's in our hearts.
Yeah. What type of alternative Skype could I use with the Raspberry Pi? That's tough. There's not a lot of horsepower, so it might be hard to do video or audio like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's an Asterisk thing that might work.
I don't know if you can do Skype, but I know that people have done like video streaming. You can, with the Pi camera, you can sort of stream video over Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But I think it uses like command line tools. I don't think there's like a proper Skype.
Okay.
Maybe there's like a Skype open source clone.
What does Adafruit use for user management? Also, does Adafruit still use Zencard? So what we have isn't anything like Zencard anymore. It's pretty far away from it. There's a lot of modifications.
Yeah,
and for user management, we built an account system.
Yeah. It's accounts at Adafruit.com.
Yeah. So we actually have an account system that we made just for accounts. Next one. Why are Arduinos out of stock? I can answer that one. Because we're making them.
We sold out. We did the second one.
Yeah, we're shipping tons and tons and tons, and they're selling out very fast.
Yeah, there's been a little bit of a drought, and so until we get to get the pipeline going, which we have to do a small run and then a larger run and then a larger run, and that's how you kind of do it, so you don't end up like making 50,000 by accident that are not the right type or have a mistake. So it's slowly and surely, but we do have some that are going to be ready to ship in like a week or two-ish.
Yeah, someone said VoIP server is working on Raspberry Pi, so try that. That's the Skype alternative.
Okay.
Next up, I think we're almost through most of the questions. Where could someone get help to make those things work with the Yun? I think I would try the Arduino forums because there's more people using the Yun and talking about the Yun.
Yeah, none of our staff really knows the Yun. I mean, the Yun's kind of like the Leonardo. I just don't know the details of getting all that stuff working. Like pin wise, it will work, but like the details are tougher.
Okay. All right, Lady Ada. Those are the questions.
Okay.
Good work.
Yay.
Got through them. Okay. We are going
Time
to
for movie music?
Yeah. Well, no, we're going to do a trivia question. So here comes a trivia question. What do you want to give away this week?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe we can get one of the hats, because the Phone 3Gs are kind of a pain to do.
Okay.
We can give away a Minty Synth.
Yeah, we're going to give away a Minty Synth. Lady Ada, you've been doing
you
this
don't need like a Raspberry Pi or Arduino to use
for
it.
6 years you've been doing the rules, but what are the rules?
Rules are, if you've won something already from this lovely show, you can't win again. Only one winner per our lifetime. First person to type in the correct answer in the YouTube or Ustream chat wins the Minty Synth kit.
Okay. Ready? Here's the question. Which amendment gave the women the right to vote 95 years ago? We actually talked about this earlier in your show. Which amendment? first person to type it in the YouTube chat or the Ustream chat. I don't think I'll try to see it in the Periscope, but we'll see. It's all
Ooh, Periscope's really
This
live.
is all hard to see. I'll see which one. Looks like the YouTube chat has it just by a little bit. Jackson Woodward, congratulations, Jackson! You won 19th Amendment. Woo!
Yay! You win a Minty Synth kit.
You won.
Congratulations.
So Jackson Woodward, email support@adafruit.com and let them know that you won a Minty Synth kit, and they will send you out one in the mail. Thank you so much for entering and playing. Woo! Okay. All right. Okay. That being said, Lady Ada, that is our show.
Yay!
A little reminder, everyone, code 6 years, all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. No gift certificates,
No software.
no software.
But everything else,
Everything else is okay.
including many of the fine goods that you have seen here tonight.
Yeah. And don't forget, we've been doing this for 6 years. We've been doing your show and tell for 4 years. We've been doing 3D Hangouts for 1 year. We've been doing Portables for 2 years. We're going to keep this up.
So much.
Only because you guys keep doing stuff. Big special thanks, George Grace is out there who helps us with the show every single week. All the people on the Adafruit team who help us out here. All of the community members, customers, everyone who's kept us going for years.
Yeah, there's thousands of us.
Thank you so much. And we'll
should have a block
continue.
party.
Yeah, we'll continue to do this. We have a
Cyber
picture
block
of a
party.
cat. We'll see everybody next week.
He's still alive.
And here is.
If
yeah,
you Periscope,
he
you
was
can
on
see him. He's on
yeah.
Periscope, yeah.
Here is your moment of Zener.